Bam, we're live. All three of us.
Hello, hello.
Good morning.
What's up, dudes?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Bright and early today.
You guys are in LA?
No, we're in St. Louis right now, actually.
Oh, how'd you guys end up there? For some reason, I thought you guys were in San Diego. Didn't you drive across the border and visit Pops?
Oh yeah, well we move around a lot.
Is St. Louis home now?
For the summer, we're a supplement company that we're sponsored by, so we're out here for the summer to do some promotion and get some work done out here.
Oh, that's awesome! Congratulations. Who'd you guys get as a sponsor?
So it's called First Form. So he's wearing
Yeah.
a shirt right here.
First Form by Andy Frisella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good,
So we're out.
good people, right? I have been hearing so much good stuff about. What's the guy's name who owns the company? Andy?
Andy Frisella. So he actually has a podcast called the Real AF Podcast. It used to be the MFCEO project up until a couple years ago, but it's basically about entrepreneurship and getting the right mindset to crush a business. So that's his whole thing. And then he started doing supplements, I think in 2009, and when the internet hit, he just attacked.
And so you guys moved there to be closer to your sponsor?
Right.
Wow, that's cool. That's some authentic shit. That's really cool.
Yeah, the main reason why we came out here too is because we want to obviously grow and just learn, get all the sauce while we can. Learn as much as we can while we're out here, because we've been been in Florida, been in California, and we think it's just better if we get the game out here, get it, and then really learn it, and then once we're ready to go, we're out of here, and then we'll be back in LA in the sunshine.
It's kind of interesting. So as I was looking into you guys and looking more and more, when I'm in California too, and when I think of Los Angeles and the times I've been down there, it's kind of tragic what's happened to Los Angeles in the last couple of years. But what's really been exposed is just kind of how fragile the people are down there and their mindset. Just this kind of whole lack of personal accountability and personal responsibility, and I don't mean this to shit on your generation, but maybe it's just always old people always do that. Maybe that I should shit on myself. But when I see two guys like you who are like, fuck this, we're taking control of our lives, ourselves. Are you guys outcast amongst your friends, or are you trendsetters, or are you role models? Like, how are your friends when you're around people? I guess it could be any age. Let's scratch the age thing. When you're around people who you hear making excuses, what's your go-to? Do you have a go-to line, or do you try to fix them?
Yeah, well, I mean, to hit that age range that you were talking about, we work with people older than you, so there's not necessarily
good.
We're 23, and that's the thing, is it doesn't really matter what age you are. There's people at any age that's going to make an excuse for themselves as to what they can accomplish or what they can't accomplish. And really our business model and how we present ourselves is, who doesn't have a family member that's overweight or obese? Mind you, a twin brother who was in the same position as you. So, that's really our demographic. I guess you could say the lower income, single parent, dad in prison. Those are the people in the generation, I guess we really
plenty of reasons. Everybody has plenty of reasons to like, oh, this is why my life sucks. And then they give you, a whole spreadsheet of why and who did it to them and where it happened at. And for us personally, to say, are we, outliers among our friends? I mean, growing up, we were just really close together, honestly, even through high school, middle school, we had, a good group of friends, but they weren't close friends. We knew not to attach ourselves to our friends, if that makes sense. We always knew okay, these people are going to fall away eventually. We've heard it growing up, your friends that you have in middle school aren't going to be in high school. Same friends in high school aren't going to be the ones in real life. So we kind of just knew that in the back of our mind. And then we would see people for the way they are and see the way people moved. And for us personally, it was okay, well, now that we're out of high school, we're overweight and obese. What are we going to do? There's no point in being 350 pounds, 330 pounds, not playing any sports, not doing anything. And so that really made us realize, okay, well, we have to attack the first thing that's on our list, and that's losing weight. Most people have a big list of things that they can get done, but they don't get it done. And so that's where we realize we can't really hang around those type of people
that work a regular job and, you know, that
and no shade against people that work a regular job, but like, because we work jobs too, you know, before we even did social media, but
we realize that's not what we're, you know, as to your question as being those outliers, you know, most of all of our friends growing up work a regular job or want a career, and, you know, we just are choosing a different path.
And there was a quote I heard yesterday that said, you calling me extraordinary is letting you off the hook.
I love it.
Yeah, and that really got to me yesterday. I was like, wow, because what I'm doing is something that I should have been doing. I shouldn't have been 350 pounds at 17 years old. So it was just kind of a lesson to me, like, okay, I just needed to get this stuff done, and that's really what it is.
Angelo and Kalvin with a K.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Do you know why your mom named you that? Why your mom and dad named you that? Where you got your names from?
Yeah, well, I'm named after my dad, so I'm a junior, Mark Kalvin Sanders. My first name is Mark, M-A-R-K, Kalvin Sanders Jr., and then
social security number 556. No, and then I'm Angelo, obviously. So my mom had a miscarriage, and so I was supposed to be named like Michael or some shit like that, and then she ended up. My grandma said it's an angel. Like, God gave you a blessing to have 2 babies now, because she had the first one. So yeah, I got hit with Angelo.
Awesome. And you guys are born in Los Angeles?
Born in San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah, born
for
and raised.
For those of you who don't know, San Diego is just it's the town basically almost right on the border with Mexico, and it's about a couple 100 miles south of Los Angeles. It's just, so tell me about that growing up, because that is like, seems to be it's a big thing that I push to people. I think one of the strongest correlates for any problems you have in life is if you don't have both parents around. If there's a guy, a 90-year-old man named Thomas Sowell. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's an economist over at the Hoover Institute, and basically all the stuff that they always say is because of you're black, or because you're Chinese, or because whatever you are. He says, no. The strongest correlate has nothing to do with anything except having both your parents in your life. If the highest rate of cancer, people who only have one parent. Highest rate of prison, people only have one parent. Highest rate of obesity, people who only have one parent. I mean, you can draw that correlate to almost anything. And he goes, that's the strongest one. And there are people like, you guys and myself, and tons of examples of people who come up from divorced households. But we even know that, hey, it's not ideal, right? Like, it'd have been nice to have both. It'd have been nice to have both our parents together.
Yeah, it would be nice, but you know, there are people who want to do what we want to do and what you want to do, who have started off with way less. I started off with no parents. So really, what is our excuse when it comes to having both parents in our life and wanting to be successful? There really is no excuse.
No excuse. But you guys do talk about how your dad went to prison quite a bit. It's part of like what you want to share with people, that you guys, hey, we had this unfortunate situation. We were able to pull through it. How old were you guys when you realized your dad wasn't in your life?
Well, so, I mean, our dad has been in and out of our life our whole life. You know, when we were born, he was in prison for 4 years, and he got out when we were 5. So, or like 4 or 5 years old. So we didn't really even understand that we were alone and with our mom at 5. So obviously we just grew up as, kids. And then he comes home, puts us in soccer as our coach for a couple of years. You know, we're living life with our dad until maybe we're like 9, 10 years old. And then dad messes up again. And then he goes back to prison. And from there, at that time, he got really hit with like 6 years or 5 years or something like that. So we had our dad for a cumulative maybe 5 years out of our life. And he was, a great dad while he was there, but he was loving, he was inspirational. He was everything what we would want, except for the fact that he sold drugs and, carried guns and was known around the city as the guy not to fuck with. And like, that's just something that we kind of, like you said, how single parent families or whatever like that kind of hit with the most problems. Growing up, we were loved by people, but we were also very like, not aggressive, but like we just had this defense mechanism against us. Like, don't call me fat, don't do this. And so you're like ready to, lash out against people. So you never really learned how to deal with those emotions. And our dad was trying to make us lose weight as kids. He would take us to the park, go running. We fucking hated it. And he'd be like, you know, this is something that's good for you. I'm benefiting you for the future. And thankfully, like, I'm so thankful that he was the one that kind of showed us to be fit, because he put us in sports, did all those types of things in the short amount of time that he was there. And that really just benefited us for our future, because we could have easily just sat back and played video games all day and ate chips and soda and been a lazy shit our whole life. But we realized, you know, we got this background. If our dad could be freaking 8-pack ripped, you know, all these types of things coming from a third world country, being malnourished, why the hell can't we get in shape, you know?
Did he get deported? Is that why he's living in Tijuana right now? He can't make it. He can't come.
Deported a few times.
Even after you have kids in the United States, you can still get deported?
So that's kind of tricky about that, actually. So he's in jail now, and we're not going to really go over the full story why he is now.
Wait a second. In the United States or back in Tijuana?
Well, he's in jail here in the United States. So.
San Diego.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck. I'm so sorry. I just watched that video yesterday of you guys hanging out with them in Tijuana. That was like a year ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's the thing. He's getting out in like a few weeks from now, but he actually has this like thing with this case where, like you said, he had kids in America, and he messed up one time, like whatever, 15 years ago when we were kids, like I said, and then went back to prison. You're actually supposed to get like a one chance rule. Like, you can mess up while you're here and then you don't get deported, but he got deported right away. So they're looking into his court case right now. Hopefully that they can kind of wash away anything that happened afterwards, because he wasn't supposed to be deported. He was supposed to be brought back to America after after messing up in jail. You don't just get sent back right away. And so there's this thing with this case that we got to look into, but hopefully he could be back into America. We just got to kind of go through those documents and whatnot and present it to a judge and everything.
Where was he born?
Honduras.
So and what is he? What's his makeup?
So it's Afro-Latino. So his descendants are from Africa, and then all the blacks out of my family speak Spanish, and my mom's white.
Yeah, so the Atlantic slave trade brought over from Africa, brought to the Caribbeans, brought to the Central Americas. Obviously, the black people stayed and then mingled with the natives there, and he learned how to speak. Not saying he's that fucking old, but learned how to speak Spanish and everything. So that's black and Spanish, basically.
And you said when you were young, you remember receiving a lot of love, and I'm guessing that's that Honduran culture.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, it was awesome growing up. Having that, our family base was really cool. You know, being a cultured black, white, and speaking Spanish, it's like you're the best of all
kind
three.
Of everything,
honestly.
yeah.
And I think about it because I see your dad. Your dad reminds me of my dad and my uncles too. Like, I grew up I'm Armenian, and man, it was like, I wish no matter how bad shit is in our culture, everyone's so affectionate and so loving. And I remember just all the kids always felt really loved. Like, the adults were cool. Like, you could trust the adults. Yeah. You could trust the adults that I grew up with.
100%. That's awesome. So Armenian, you said.
Yeah. You got a lot of them in LA. A lot of them.
Yeah.
I've heard.
So then your dad, you don't get a lot of time with your dad, but you love your dad, and it must have hurt you guys. No one wants to see their dad taken to prison. That must have been some painful shit.
I mean, at a young age, I would say 9 or 10, it really affected us. But then, growing up, it wasn't really anything that we thought about, but we knew our obesity stemmed from obviously not having a dad that was going to push us in sports or push us to be a man or teach us what it took to be a man. So that was I would say painful, from 8 to 12.
Yeah, learning how to shave, just doing all the stuff that you really don't even look over as, being a man nowadays, that is so common. Certain things that we just weren't taught.
How to tie a tie, just all those things. But
Todd M says, I was over 400 pounds 5 years ago, and now I live around 225. Awesome, and excited to hear your story today.
Wow.
That's crazy.
There we go, man. Congratulations, Todd.
You guys, so when I was probably 16 years old, I was in high school, I was a sophomore, and some kids started making fun of my nose. And I remember being like, what are they talking about? And then going home and looking in the mirror and being like, oh shit, when did you get here? Like, fuck, you weren't here yesterday. But at 9 years old, I can't remember which one of you it was. One of you was like, and then I remember like being 16 and telling my mom, hey, I want to get a nose job. My mom's like, oh yeah, absolutely. I'll get you one when you're in your 20s. And she wasn't going to. She was just kicking the can down the road till I matured and fell in love with my nose, right? Which was smart. Right. My dad did the same thing with motorcycles. I said at 14, I'm like, oh, I want a motorcycle. I'll for sure get you one when you're 16. I turned 16. I want a motorcycle. I'll for sure when you're 18. And then I got over it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's some like benevolent lying. But at 9, I think one of you was already asking for gastric bypass surgery. Can you tell me when you guys realized that you guys were fat, that you were like, and how you realized it? Because like I didn't realize it till someone made fun of me, and I was like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, I mean, we always knew. I mean, we knew it. You know, after 3rd, 4th grade, and our dad was solidified in prison. It was like, yeah, like this is, we knew that we were going to end up continuing to get bigger. And
yeah, when you start going to your friend's house and like the first thing you look for is their pantry, like because they have different snacks that you didn't have.
You don't care about their toys. You don't care about their you don't care about their video games at all. You just care about what's in their pantry.
So cringy and embarrassing, like some of the stuff we would do as a kid. I can't even imagine being our friends' parents and like seeing these kids like run in and like they're good kids, but like they just wanted to eat and like we're just like eating up their snacks. Like
couldn't have made us happy with any video game. No toys, nothing excited us. No motocross bikes, no trampoline. It was where's the food at?
Wow, that's kind of like being in college and your friends come over to smoke your weed. Like they just like walk right past you straight to your bong and like open up your sack. Okay, so and then you knew, and then kids started saying stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, it wasn't until maybe like he said 3rd, 4th grade where you started realizing you're bigger than everybody. Kids are kind of like waking up a little bit and starting throwing the insults in a real way. And then that's when I guess you could say like 4th grade.
But I would say we never really we were always popular amongst our age group and our cohort. Like people, our friends and those kids were respectable, I would say, more respected us. Like we were good at football. We've always played football, always played sports, but there was still that factor that we were big. But most kids kind of overlooked that because they knew we could, score on them in basketball or score on them in football. So they kind of overlooked those things, even though we were, we weren't just pushovers at all, at that age.
It sounded like you guys had a good work ethic too.
I would say, definitely when it came to whatever we were doing on the court or on the field, we played basketball, school basketball team, football in high school.
Didn't miss practice. Didn't like try to cut laps short. Like you guys handled your business.
Definitely cut laps short for sure.
Maybe this kind of run where you're like pumping your arms really hard, but your feet are doing it.
And then when you were 9, one of you asked for gastric bypass surgery.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing that a 9-year-old would even know what that is?
Well, we knew what it was because our mom had gastric bypass surgery when we were like 3 or 4 years old. Our mom had gastric bypass. I remember her pulling up to our kindergarten graduation in a wheelchair because she had like some post-op surgery that needed to be done. So we knew what it was, by 9 years old. And we knew that we were big. Yeah,
we knew it was the lose weight surgery. Like, just what you do to lose weight.
Less than 24 hours ago, you guys made a video and you put it on the Vision Twins YouTube channel. And I was watching it. And it's a pretty brave video you guys made. And I bet you guys can keep talking about it as you get older. Basically, you talk about gastric bypass surgery. And I just want to throw a couple things in there about that. First of all, anyone who says it's like cheating or any of that shit, fuck them. Like, fuck you. Like, no one should be judging you for cheating or not cheating or anything. First of all, and you guys didn't get gastric bypass surgery. I want to be super clear about that. You guys did not do it. The thing that scares me is that you guys talk about the mechanism in your mind and the trauma that you had that led you to food for comfort. This gastric bypass surgery, one, and you guys expressed this in your video, like, hey, what happens if you get it and you gain the weight back? We have some concerns there, right? But the other thing is everyone I know that's gotten it I shouldn't say everyone. I've had some people on the show who got it and who are really happy, but ends up being lifelong complications that they didn't know about. Some pill that they have to take the rest of their life, some damage that was done, some fat cells that they lost. So now when they put fat on, it attaches to their organs instead of their waist. And I thought you guys handled it with a lot of tact. Like, hey, we're not judging you, but like, hey, make some efforts along this path maybe first. Because it's, I'm sorry, say that again, Kalvin.
Showing what's possible, you know what I mean? Because
right, yeah.
you could easily continue to get bigger and say, I'm going to get the surgery, you know, and at 17, we decided to lose weight, you know, at our heaviest weight. And we could have said, you know, in 5 years and 7 years, you know, we'll decide to look into surgery. But we said, fuck that, you know, we're going to go get to it and we're going to run our ass off.
I was like Forrest Gump, like when they said, how long are you going to keep running for? I don't know. So I'm tired. Like that's what it was for me with weight loss. I was just going to keep running until I lost weight. You know, I was going to keep exercising in the house until until I looked like I was never overweight or obese again in my life. And that's something that like, you can't replace that with anything. You can't buy that. You can't do anything to get that experience about like what's possible for yourself. Because most of the time, like it's unfortunate. A lot of people look for the easier way out. And I'm not saying surgery is the easier way out, but like even in school.
No, it's not. That's the illusion, right? That's the illusion, right, Angelo? They think it's the easier way out, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's probably harder. It's probably harder.
What happens when you cheat on a test? Like, okay, you get the big exam at the end. You've been cheating on all the tests leading up to it, and you didn't learn anything. And now you're about to bomb the exam, the final exam, and because you never took the time to study anything. So, like, that's what happens when you cheat. That's not cheating, but that's what happens when you take a shortcut, because the shortcut's going to get you there quicker. Yeah, but, like, what happens when everybody else is finally caught up, and now they have double your knowledge, double everything that you've done, and they've pretty much probably looked better. They've got more, like, you know what I'm saying?
What can you teach somebody else after that test? You know,
I have a guy coming on next week. Really fucking good friend of mine. And he was pushing like 300 pounds, and I got him into CrossFit and he lost 100 pounds. Then he gained the weight back. I got him back into it again. He lost the weight. The second time he lost the weight, he had all his skin cut off. Now I talked to him like about a month ago, and I go, hey, what's up, man? And he goes, hey, I'm gaining weight. And I go, okay. And he goes, and something really fucked up is happening. And I go, what? He goes, you're born with only a certain amount of fat cells. And because I had my skin cut off, the fat has nowhere to go that I'm putting back on, and it's attaching to my organs. And I'm just like, oh, fuck me. So I'm working with them now. I'm working with them now. We got him back on the straight and narrow, and this guy's dedicated. This guy's a beast. But yeah, there was a shortcut, right? He made a decision, and there's a few years later there's a cost for it. That's another great thing you guys do.
That's unfortunate.
You guys have the hey, no shame, no insecurity kind of pep talk before your workouts that you do. Hey, take your shirt off. Who gives a shit? Get at it, boy.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's, I didn't even think about that. Like after you lose weight and you get the surgery, because we've been very adamant, like I'm not gonna get the surgery. Probably not even ever, but like right now it's not even in our focal view. And I never even thought about that. Like if you do gain the weight back, you're not really allowed any room to gain weight, because now you're going to be holding the fat in different areas, which can obviously kill you. And like that just kind of really put a clear mindset on us about that loose skin thing, and not being insecure about your body. You might as well just love it what you got, because the surgery and anything else procedures is gonna fuck you up. That's crazy.
I have twins. I have 3 boys. I have 2 5-year-olds and a 7-year-old. And I guess maybe I'll start here. So I'm married. I have a wife, and if my wife's in a bad mood, it affects me. It affects me deeply. Or like if I saw my wife sad or scared, it like affects me deeply. And most of the world, anything, I'm really good at not being affected. I'm really, really fucking a centered person. But I've given myself so much to my wife emotionally, and mentally and spiritually that I am connected to her. I've lost myself in my identity as being mixed with her. Probably not the most ideal thing, but it happens, right? And I'm okay with it. We're a unit. It's love.
Yeah.
And it'll go away when we die, I guess. That being said, if I yell at one of my boys, my other 2 boys start crying. If one of my boys falls down and hurts himself, the other 2 fucking start crying and they run over to him and grab him.
Yeah.
If we're at the park and my boy gets off his skateboard and another kid comes and grabs it, one of the other boys will come over and be like, yo, put my brother's skateboard down. I mean, it's like they're one person in how they move around together and how they hug and how they sleep and just everything that they're doing. It seems like you guys must be like really connected emotionally, the 2 of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've kind of learned how to manage over the last couple of years, because it's led us into good things, and it's also led us into trouble where it's like, okay, so one of us has to be the clear-minded person to be able to be like,
yeah, right.
Snap out of it,
both you can't be losing your shit at the same time. Like if you read something that upsets you on the internet, your brother has to stay calm. He can't feed it. And the same thing on the other side, right?
100%, man. Yeah.
I mean, one of us is like, I would say, excuse me, he's more of like I'll say a business mind, and then I'm more of kind of like not to brag, but I'm kind of the pretty face of the group. But no, there's definitely one of us there's one of us that excels better in different areas.
But also it's like this, like I have friends who like they'll be at a bar and someone will bump them and their wife will like instigate them to fight. And I'm like, man, I would never want to be in a relationship like that. I would want my wife to keep me calm. Or let's say I get mad at my kids, my wife stays calm. We don't both team up on my kids. Or if my wife gets mad at my kids, I stay calm. We both don't team up on them. And I feel like you would have to be in that. You guys have to, like, one of you always has to stay conscious. Both of you can't fall asleep and be angry, right?
Right. Yeah, the yin and yang to it, I guess you could say, man. That's what there's a benefit to have us being twins, is that there is 2 of us. So like, well, if I can't handle one thing, he's probably much better at communicating with women in a certain way. Or if I'm better at, getting on a guy's ass and telling him to, get his shit together or whatever, like I can do that without feeling any like, not sympathy, but like understanding. But I'm not going to sit there and, compromise with you and feel sad for you. Like, there's a certain time for, harden, and there's a certain time for softness.
What if something comes up between you 2? And that's the problem a lot of couples have. Someone will just keep swallowing it. Like, just be like, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. Do you guys have a communication technique, or like, okay, hey, we need to take space for 15 minutes, or hey, we need to sit down and talk about this. I didn't like what you said on camera here, and you're alienating this group of people? Or how do you guys manage if you start judging each other?
It's pretty funny. Like we kind of just talk throughout the day, and like if something comes up, like see, like, yeah, when you were talking about that. And then like we'll kind of discuss it right there and be like, yeah, that's true. Like, and then we'll go out and then handle our business the next day or whatever. And with that knowledge that we kind of already discussed it.
Yeah, even though we love each other, we never take anything personal. If that makes sense. There's no.
I mean, that's the way to succeed, to excel.
Yeah, there's no room in our business for us to be getting mad at each other, because there's somebody else that's grinding right now, and they're hoping.
Puerto Ricans in New York that are fucking working out and getting shredded too.
And they're hoping that we're beating each other's ass and
fighting and dumb shit. We've grown past that. We've learned like we're just slowing ourselves down every single time we argue
or fight. Yeah.
So there's no point in it anymore. We know what we want to do, and
we haven't fought since I know the day. It was September 20-ish, 2021. So it's coming up on a year, in a couple months. But that was the last time we really got down. And it was like
always over some stupid shit. You can't even remember why you did it. But
something we said
I saw the video you guys put out where one of you punches the other one. I'm not gonna lie. As a father, that like broke my heart. Like when I see my boys do that to each other, it fucking breaks my heart. Uh-oh, I lost you.
It's so dumb, and like that's what happens. It's like, all right, you want to do that? Look how fucking dumb you look doing that. Let everybody see you do that, and like, tell me what your opinion is if you want to keep doing that shit. And like, that really got to us right there, because it's like, why are we hurting each other? Like, why? Like, and it stems from a lot of bullshit online, honestly. Like, a lot of bullshit you see online. You like
that we didn't know how to handle emotionally at that point. Yeah.
In the beginning, it was fine. We were not really pleased, but as you kind of get established in what you're doing, you turn that off real quick. It's good. This alarm keeps going off. But yeah. You can start growing a following and people recognize you and all those things. People start attacking in the beginning, but once they start to kind of understand you and they start pointing out your flaws, you get offended by it. And then you're like, now we realize people are going to say whatever they want online. Like at the end of the day, people are going to literally bash you for the dumbest reasons. And so that just teaches us like, okay, we cannot get upset about not anything online and anything between each other. Cause we
can't be one of those commenters to each other, talking shit. Your hair looks like this, or, we can't be one of those, the same thing that we're
experiencing online. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I notice a technique I like to use is I like to lean into a lot of it. So if like someone makes fun of me, I like to lean into it and like own it. I also see people like the Liver King, who just exploded on the scene, climbed in 6 months to 1.6 million followers on Instagram. And he doesn't even address the haters, or if he addressed them, he just addressed them in the most positive fashion. Hey buddy, we know you're juiced to the fucking gills. And he just responds with, hey, I follow the 9 ancestral tenets and I've been working out for 15 years. Talk to me after you've done that. And if you don't look like me, then maybe we can talk about the juice, or you know what I mean? It's just, and that's it. No fuck yous. No, I'm always impressed, but I also think he has a pretty good team insulating him too from the negativity.
Yeah, that stands out. Are we good?
Yeah, now we're good. Yep. Go ahead. Say that again. Sorry.
That stands out online, of course, is going to be people that think like, even people think that we stairs. And I'm like, bro, I'm not even the biggest guy ever. Like, how could I possibly? But people are just going to discredit everything you do. So when I guess just knowing your truth and owning your truth, then you can really. It doesn't matter if anybody says it because you already know what's the truth.
Yeah, and someone might say it's kind of like, let's say someone saw you eating ice cream somewhere. Instead of being like coming up with some excuse, be like, yeah, that was really stupid. I own that. Yep, I should have never done that. Just lean right into it. Like I made a little. I always talk about how you should never drink sugary drinks, right? And then one of my friends made a video of me using some Monster Energy drink with some Tito's and soda at a party, and I was like, fuck yeah, I did. I was fucking going hard those 2 days. Like, now what? Like, once they got you, like once you own it, you own it. Just own it. Just own your shit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Damn, our connection's getting really squirrely. If you look on your computer, is your connection ass? Mine says mine's good.
I think ours might be the problem right now. We just moved into an apartment, so we've been, running off our cell phone hotspots, but it's all good. I think it's still pretty decent.
Have you guys ever talked about the Island Boys?
What's funny is we were going live, I think about a month ago, and they came onto one of our live streams and requested to go live with us. So we went live with them. Yeah, so it was just random. And we went live with them. We talked, like, kind of shared stories. And, it's cool because when they first started popping off, a lot of people would, like, tag us in their videos and ask if we're the Island Boys. And, I thought it was just cool. I mean, they're not really our niche whatsoever, but, it was cool to talk to them.
It's cool to see twins doing their thing, I guess.
It's tough. It's tough for me. It fucking, once again, I'm just being the old dad shit. But I see two guys like you who are being vulnerable and working on yourselves publicly. And what's crazy is I think they're doing the same thing, but they're fucking taking they've gone a really long route. they're like good, they're still going the wrong direction before they come back around. You know what I mean? Like I see them smoking those vape pens and that fucking breaks my heart. Here's two fucking boys who should be virile as shit, right? They should be doing what you guys are doing. They should be visiting their dad. They should be working out hard. They should be just getting strong and healthy. And instead they're doing irreversible damage to their fucking beautiful pink lungs. And it just, and I like it that you talk to them. I think that's fucking great. Like they need friends like you. You know what I mean? And they're getting so much feedback from the outside world that it's probably hard for them to change, right? It's hard. But like you have this addiction to movement and they have this addiction to social media and vape pens. And it's just, yeah, it's hard. It's a, it makes me happy that you guys interacted with him. It's such a different path of health. You know, you guys are trying to let your DNA express itself in its finest way, so you become healthy men. And they're pouring water on their fire.
Yeah. It's and that's the thing with the internet too. It's like if you blow up quick, you usually come down pretty quick too. And that's something that we got really caught up in the beginning. You know, comparing yourself to other success and what are they doing over there? What should we? But then you realize, like, there's only one us. You know what I mean? As many twins there are on the planet, there can only be us two.
Vision twins.
The Vision Twins, you know?
I think that's the best name. I love that name. Like, that's...
Yeah, Island Boys, whatever you want to call it. The next twins that are coming up, like...
The Vision Twins, I feel like I'm so honored and grateful to have... I feel like it's the best at name on the internet, and that's just how I feel, you know?
Do you know about the Winklevoss twins?
Are those
the Vinky twins? The
guys who bought 1% of all of Bitcoin when it was $7 a coin.
Oh,
are they? Oh no, I never heard of them.
They're the founders of Facebook, and then Mark Zuckerberg basically stole it from them.
Oh,
they're amazing, and they were Olympians. They were rowers. You should look them up. There's a book called Bitcoin Billionaire, written by some guy named Mesrick. I had him on the show. He also wrote The Social Network, that movie. But he wrote a book about him, and it's really cool. I think you guys will really like it. They're just two guys, and they had an idea for Facebook, and then Zuckerberg took it from them. And but then when Bitcoin was really cheap, they bought 1%. They bought 1% of all of Bitcoin, and you can only imagine how fucking rich they are now. And they're Olympians, and they're hard workers, and they're twins, and they sound like you guys, kind of like inseparable. Like two dudes who are just, you know, just living the dream together.
Yeah,
that's freaking. And see, shit like that makes me inspired. I'm not really, I don't give a shit about what happens on the internet. Like, I think it's cool that people can, you know, just turning life into success. Like, that's what gets me motivated. That's what, and now I want to go learn more about Bitcoin and do these types of things.
Have any women ever come between you guys?
Yeah, I would say from the ages.
That was quick. Yeah,
always them too.
Not as the Vision Twins. No, not as the Vision Twins, but 18 to 21, and then we started doing Vision Twins at 21 years old when COVID hit 2 years ago. But no, 18 to 21, I was definitely living with another girl in San Diego and paying rent back at our apartment. So, you know, there was that, but. You know, as the Vision Twins, no.
It could never really get started because he was always with his girlfriend, basically. So when we I like pulled him out. I was like, boom. He ends up having to be in this relationship. Oh, you're good. He ended up having to be in this long relationship, and so.
Damn, our connection is so jacked. Our connection's jacked.
Oh, there we go.
You froze. No. Can you hear me? No.
I see you, but hopefully you're seeing us.
I can see you. I just can't hear you. You guys turned into the Transformers. Uh-oh. Frank says this is a tough listen.
Oh, my word. Oh, my
there
word.
We
Frank,
go. There we go. We're back.
Frank, now you just add some.
Oh, they're gone. Bye-bye. That's a bad connection. Come on, guys. Come on, Kalvin and Angelo. You guys are YouTube stars. Fucking get that connection right, boys. Really cool story. The world needs more guys like these two. The world definitely needs more guys like these two. Better.
All right. How are we?
We're back.
All right. Perfect.
Frank, sorry. Still getting Wi-Fi.
Come on, Frank. Come on, Frank. I do see that weight gain and health is sort of being the sort of collapse of civilization. I think that everything that's going on, whether it be global warming, sickness, COVID, I think it's all bullshit because what all I see is happening is people consuming more and more and creating more and more of a problem. You have people who I go to Disneyland and I'm looking at people who consume 5 times as much as me. I don't want to hear shit from them about how they care about the planet. I just saw them use 5 plastic cups for drinking Diet Coke. I didn't drink one. I see. I don't want to hear shit about COVID when 80% of the people who died were obese in the hospital. It's this bad thinking. If you can't run and jump over a fence, like every 50-year-old should be able to do, then your whole mindset, the way you look at the world, is different than mine. Because I have this ability to do things you can't. So you play the victim, and I see just a fence that I can jump over and get away from the problem. And so when I see people,
you're just a different guy.
Say that again.
I was saying, no, and you're just like a perfect outlier. Like you're just the most magnificent person out there that they wish they could be like, but not very difficult to get to.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's all these people who have opinions about the way the world is running yet, and yet they haven't cleaned their own house up yet. Like, of course you're scared of global warming and COVID and this. You can't even fucking climb the fence into your neighbor's yard if a fucking robber comes in. You're fucking have completely shit on your whole body. You've shit on yourself. You can't even run away from a 12-year-old boy. A 12-year-old boy could beat you up. And it's like, of course you're going to be afraid of all of these other things. So when I see people like you, I'm like, wow, they're really being, and I think the only thing we can be is good role models.
Be an example, being an undeniable role model.
Yeah. Like, so if the 3 of us went to McDonald's, let's say, and we went with a crew of 10, the 3 of us might take off our top piece of bread and fucking throw it in the street to the seagull and just eat the burger open face. And like, I feel like that's all we can do. And then hopefully one of the guys is like, what are you doing? And be like, hey man, there's no reason for 2 pieces of bread right now. Like we're going to be sitting in the car for another 5 hours. Like, what do I need 2 pieces of bread for?
And that's the funniest part, is like trying to explain that to people, like, because we've told many people before on the internet, like, you don't need to eat bread. Like, that's just like been one topic. Like, of course you don't need to avoid bread, but like, over consuming bread like that, where there's 2 buns and like, you can just enjoy the burger. It's like, you're just trying to fill your stomach. That's all you need to do. You don't need to sit back and feel bloated, and that's something that we try to teach people, especially with losing weight and getting in shape. It's like, you don't have to go from 0 to 100 right away. It's just throw that top piece of bread off. Maybe don't put ketchup on there and mayonnaise. Like, just eat the burger plain. Like, maybe take off a slice of cheese. Like, just doing that type of stuff can lead to great results. But to people that don't do anything, it seems like you made this gigantic leap from nothing to something. And then all of a sudden you became this fit person that has abs and had it figured out their whole life. When really it's like, I was probably worse than you at one point. And I just started doing one thing at a time and realized, oh, this works for me. This doesn't. This works. Trial and error. But most people are too afraid to fail to even learn something.
And there's these people on the internet. There's this guy who Duche or BioLane or even Steph Cohen, and they're always arguing like, oh, don't listen to these people. They don't know what they're talking about. You can eat bread or you can eat sugar. And what they don't realize, they're such fucking pretentious assholes, because what they don't realize is this. The vast majority of people are addicted to sugar like heroin. Mm-hmm. Like, what they might be saying might be true. Sure. A little bit of sugar for you is okay. You're all fucking juiced up on steroids. I get it. You fucking work out 5 times a day. You've had your shit dialed for 15 years. The rest of us, we need to move away from that stuff. We need a whole fucking reboot. We're fucking addicts. We're not in a little bit of I can smoke 2 cigarettes a day. I don't know if you guys ever smoked, but like there's these people who can smoke 2 cigarettes a day, and 99% of people can't do that. Nicotine's so fucking addictive, it's mind-blowing. And there's this instead of trying to understand where you're coming from, they try to say what you did was wrong, and yet you are the role model. You guys lost 360 pounds together between the two of you. And it should be just all kudos for you guys. You guys cracked the code on it.
It's weird, funny how you said sugar, man. Sugar is I made a video probably a couple months ago now, but it was a video of me just eating some oatmeal with my protein in it, and on the top of the word said sugar is the devil. And man, I'm being honest. And when you're trying to lose weight, sugar is seriously the devil. And
of course it is. Of course it is.
It's really not. People can say whatever they want about what, can I put peanut butter?
You can still eat donuts. You can still eat
sugar.
Candy. Like,
bro, fuck you. Go eat sugar then. Go eat sugar and lift up your shirt and tell me how you and show me, because sugar will fuck you up.
And that's the other thing too. They think they're being so smug. Steph Cohen walking around, or I don't know if you guys know who she is, but they act so smug and like they're walking around eating a donut or something, and they're like, everything's fine. Meanwhile, you have 25 world powerlifting records. You've been accused of doing steroids your whole fucking life. You have a fucking whole team of people working out with you. You've switched to becoming a professional boxer. We know you work out fucking 8 hours a day. Like, accept the fact that you're on a different path than the vast majority of people who really can't eat ice cream anymore. Not even a little bit.
They've had it their whole life. They were the ones when they were working out, for the 15 years, whatever. They were eating donuts and eating ice cream and sitting back thinking it was cool.
Yeah, it's really disappointing to me that instead of being supportive and realizing that they're the outliers, that they kind of push this I'm right. Okay, fine. You're right. You can eat a little bit of sugar and lose weight. Great.
But most people can't.
No.
That's what we did, man, to get started losing weight was we removed all triggers. Anything that could have triggered us in the house. Like, I remember we went in the cabinet one day, and this was the day that we decided to lose weight. Saw, all the sugary cereals, brought them out, threw them away. Grabbed all the donut holes and the hot Cheetos and the chips and the sodas in the fridge, boom, throw it away. We had this giant trash bag of unhealthy food. Our fridge looked like it was a barren wasteland, like there was nothing in it. Like, what are we going to eat now? And that's what really taught us, like, holy crap, is most of the stuff I eat in the day junk? Like, I eat junk shit all day. No wonder my body's like trash. If I just ate what's in my fridge right now, which is probably like a few apples, some lettuce, and some eggs, some ground beef, like, that type of stuff will literally cut you up and make you look so good and healthy versus saying, oh, it's okay to have these donut holes in the fridge or in the cabinets. Go in there when you only want them at a craving time. Okay, you're going to have a craving every fucking day. Like, you're losing weight. Of course, you're going to want to eat the unhealthy food. The whole point, like we said earlier, not to take that shortcut, is learn how to live without it. And then you can go pick it up later on. Most people have that problem with losing the weight, gaining it back because
they never learned how to live without it.
They never learned how to live without it. They were, avoiding it completely and saying, this is terrible for me. I cannot do this. I'm going to die if I do this. But really, you should be like, maybe 75, 80% of the time I should avoid it. And then I'll learn when that 20% can come up. But if that 20% is every day you're eating fried foods and hot dogs and carnival crap and like all this bullshit, you're going to get terrible results and you're never going to learn anything.
Yash, I'm not a hater on the vegan diet. I'm not a hater. My only issue with the vegan diet is if you are just eating shitloads of sugar and pasta and stuff instead of just trying to eat healthy. I personally although I try to stay as carnivore as I can, I flourish with vegetables. I don't have any of those problems with my stomach. I can just eat as much vegetables as I want. My stomach's I have no issues, but I do try to be carnivore. Hey, do you guys fuck with raw meat at all?
Eating raw meat?
Yeah, you guys, it's kind of the thing right now. It's like all over Instagram. People are doing it. The Liver King does it. I had a raw meat guy on. I what I started doing? I started taking a pound of ground beef, and then I take a third of a cube of butter, and then 2 dates, and I put it in a food processor, and then sprinkle salt on it and eat it.
No, I'm sorry. Like,
you should have seen Kalvin's face. I thought Kalvin was gonna be like, "Oh, I'll try that." He's like,
I think it's
I'm
more.
sorry, I can't. I
It's
can't
more.
do it. That's not me.
It's more polarizing than it is popularized, if that makes sense.
"What is the raw meat stuff?"
Yeah.
Explain to me what you mean. Explain.
I think it's more attention grabbing than it is people actually doing it.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Meaning there's people like Liver King who like really do it, but then there's other people who are trying to jump on the bandwagon and show themselves eating some liver to try to get the follows.
Yeah.
I'm like personally.
Liver's hard, man. I'm not gonna lie. One of my friends killed a duck and then brought it over to my house and ripped it open and pulled the liver out and fed it to me. Fuck, dude, that was hard. Duck killer.
Yeah, man. I could not. No way would I be enjoying. I don't even like seafood. So like, there's just.
What about sushi? You guys don't fuck with sushi at all?
I like sushi.
He's the seafood guy, and everybody. What about sushi? What about crab? What about fried shrimp? No. It's just. There's food that I'm willing to avoid for the rest of my life, and seafood's one of them.
The cool thing about sushi is soy sauce and wasabi. Do you like wasabi?
That shit's fire.
Yeah, that shit's awesome, right? It's kind of like going for like a max like bench press or something. How much wasabi can I put on there? You know what I mean? It's like
it's tough. It's good food, but like no.
You ever have a dream that you got fat again? And that people on YouTube saw or shit, like you wake up and you're like, oh fuck.
I've had like it's like a nightmare. That's my type of nightmare nowadays. Like I don't have nightmares where I'm getting killed or murdered. It's more of like, holy crap, I didn't do that. Like I didn't graduate high school or I didn't lose the weight. Yeah. And certain shit like that. That's my only nightmares that I have. It's pretty. So I'm glad that that's my nightmare. It's not me getting murdered and shit like that. But yeah.
When I quit smoking cigarettes for like a couple years, it was like that. I would have dreams where I'm smoking and I would wake up and I'd be so disappointed with myself because I smoke again. And I'm like, no, fuck it. It was a dream. Yeah. You don't have those? You don't have those, Kalvin?
No, I mean, as of recently, so ever since we moved out here to St. Louis, Missouri, you know, we were living in Florida at the time, Northwest Florida, which it's called Panama City Beach. It's a big vacation spot. There's Destin out there. So we were out there from about March 1st to June 1st. And we were smoking weed like a lot, like heavy up until, you know, a couple of weeks ago. We moved out here with basically everything on our back, you know, didn't know anybody out here. And we came into our apartment with just, you know, our luggage and, you know, just a dream, man. And since we got here, we actually quit smoking weed. And
good on you.
I've been able to dream, you know, to add to those dreams. I've been able to dream now. So last night I had a dream I was snowboarding and, you know, I was doing some crazy tricks and shit. So, you know, I've been able to dream as of recently, and I can attribute that to not smoking weed. And I just haven't felt the urge to.
And very clear. I would say very clear. Like you just wake up with the clarity. Like you don't forget what you were thinking the next day. Like if you learn something, it's like still on your mind. You just feel like you're a continuous streamline of energy, which when you smoke, that goes away, man. That like you really like it's cool to experience it in the moment, but it's like that delayed satisfaction versus the instant gratification. It's just knowing like tomorrow I'm going to wake up feeling so much better, ready to attack the day versus taking an hour or two to like fog out and like wake up in the morning. And just it makes a huge difference when you don't do it versus when you do it.
But although smoking weed I can attribute smoking weed to helping me lose weight though, because I would smoke weed at 17, 18 and go on a 5-6 mile run, you know. So yeah, so I would just get put into a different zone and just go. So, you know, I could say smoking weed definitely did help me out a lot when I first started losing weight. But
it was you replaced one habit of eating and then replaced it with, you know, smoking and then being a little bit more productive, which is kind of counteractive with most people.
But I wasn't doing any business. I wasn't, you know, it was just shit, get this fat off, you know.
Why did you quit smoking? Because you started getting paranoid or you didn't want to leave your house?
No, as of recently, I quit smoking just because I needed to be more clear. You know, I wanted, you know, more attention to what I was doing, more, I guess you could say, care as to what I was doing. And there's not any time for, I'd rather put my time into giving back to somebody else than to, being, self-gratifying in the moment and, take an hour to smoke when I can take an hour to, reply to as many DMs as I can and, help people out.
Right. When I quit smoking basically because I stopped wanting to leave the house. Like I just wanted to play video games. And even when I wanted to leave the house, I was afraid like someone would talk to me and they would know I was stoned. And so I just remember being in my 20s being like, fuck that. I'm not doing this anymore. This is a nightmare.
Yeah, man.
You have probably done it since your 20s, have you? Or
no, I mean, maybe like I think maybe like once. I'm 50 now. I can think one time I smoked once again in my like late 30s and I hated it. I think maybe in my 40s I ate an edible somewhere when I was starving. That really fucked me up. That was a huge mistake. That was like doing acid.
Yeah. Edibles are no. I did one when I was like 17, and there's this thing when you get called greened out where you just get too high, and like I was like wanting to throw up, like, and I was like, I will never get to this point again. Like when it comes to, because it was just over consuming, like knowing when's enough is enough. You don't need to do 1 blunt, 2 blunt, 3. Like this is like when I was obviously a young stoner. We were, like you said, play video games after high school, man. We'd come home, go get a bag of chips and Funyuns, play video games until about 6 o'clock in the evening, just smoking, having a good time. And like, they're
the good old days.
Yeah, looking back on it, it's like it was such a chill time, thinking about the fun times with our friends coming over and being lazy fucks. But then like, all right, now you got to do something. Like you can't just do this forever. And the people that we used to hang out with still kind of do that stuff. And so we separate, like you said, we're being outliers, we're being different. It's just getting our shit together, not waiting until you're 30 years old to figure this out. We hear stories all the time about people that fucked off their 20s and fucked off their 30s and then started in their 40s or started in their 30s. And like, we don't have time for that. Like we got family in jail. We got mom at home. Like, she loves her life. Like we just got people, we got want to do things for these people. We want to have big goals. And like, it's on us if we want anything done.
I was in the backyard the other day, picking up some dog poop, pulling some weeds. And I started thinking about just like all those videos, like David Goggins videos and Joe Rogan talks and Jordan Peterson and just all these like great, like little motivational snippets and reels that you see all over, and they're cool. And I was like, I wonder why that shit never like really moves me. I like them. And then I realized, and I'm super driven. I'm fucking insanely driven. And I realized, it's because I have no plan B. Mm-hmm. I'm like, like, I don't know if you saw the movie Forrest Gump, but he just runs and he doesn't know why he's running. And when he's done, he'll stop. But until then, he's going to run. And I was like, that's me. I'm like a fucking dumb dog that chases a ball. I just have no fucking plan B. And I go, wow, I'm so lucky that I don't have a plan B. I'm all in. It's this either podcast is going to fucking work or it's not. Yep. And I'm going to die trying.
Yeah, that's a hard hill to die on too, because you set your goal up there and you're like, man, I'm willing to die for this. And people won't understand, like trying to explain.
And I'll be okay if I die on it too. I'll feel satisfied. That's the thing. It won't be fail. If I die doing it, that's as good as well, I'm either going to die doing it or I'm just going to die. Oh, I'm going to die doing it no matter what.
There's no other way. Yeah, I feel you, man. That's how we came when we first came. Like we first moved here. We had a couple grand saved up, and like people think like you do social media all the time. Like we were doing free shit for so long. Like
it's all free shit.
It's all. So like we come in here with a couple grand, and like the first night we didn't even have we went and bought a mattress, like an air mattress, but didn't have a fucking pump to blow it up. So like I'm sleeping on the floor, hungry as shit. All the stores are closed. I'm like, I'm willing to die on this floor, sleeping on the ground, not having anything to eat, knowing that
it's gonna pay off.
It's gonna work out. Like this is what this shit is. I'm living for. Like I would much rather do this, be comfortable in
having mom pay for everything and grandma pay for everything,
living in a king size bed, sleeping on a king size bed, and like just feeling like it was handed to me. Like I would much rather do it this way than any other way.
It's your story too, dude. You would have never remembered that night if you came in there and your apartment would have already been set up with all your shit. But now you'll never forget that day.
Yeah, my back still fucking hurts.
It's 8:30 at night, and maybe one of you you guys don't feel like you got your workout in yet or something. Do you guys do some pretty crazy shit? Will you guys be like, hey, will one of you look at the other and it'll be 9 o'clock at night and be like, hey, fuck it, let's just go run around St. Louis for an hour. Let's just go on a jog and just talk.
As of
we
recently,
would if we had to, but like
we kill ourselves. We kill ourselves during the day. You know, we teach.
You do
workouts.
okay.
We teach workouts, film workouts. So you know, we kill ourselves during the day. So.
If we had to, though, 100%. Like if we're doing 75 hard, hell yeah, we'll go get that outside workout in.
Or like if let's say you were going to go to Europe or something and you had to travel for 24 hours and you guys got there and it was 3 a.m, you check in your hotel, you guys be like, fuck it, let's just run around London. It's not you. It wouldn't surprise you guys if you did that.
Oh, we definitely would do that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you guys are so fucking cool.
For us, it's like, fuck it. What are you gonna do? Go ahead and sleep. Like you've already been up for 24 hours. Like finish off with a workout and then go to sleep. And then like you feel accomplished and you got everything you wanted to do done.
One of you tells a story about saving money to buy a computer and a camera. Mm-hmm. And I was homeless and I saw that Apple was going to come out with, this is in like 2002 or 2003. And I saw Apple was going to come out with a Final Cut Pro. It was editing software, the first ever editing software you could use on a computer, and a laptop. And I was homeless at the time. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to buy that. And I'm like, fuck, how am I going to buy that? And then, so I bought it and it took me 2 weeks just to load the 10 DVDs in. And there was no internet then. So you had to be on the phone, like with customer support for hours. It was nuts, dude. And I was like, oh my God, I just spent every fucking dime I had, $6,000 on a computer and this software. And I had it plugged into a cigarette lighter in a car. And that's where I would learn. It was fucking nuts. But eventually, within a few years, I was making movies and I ended up, 20 years later, I got rich. But I just kept my head down the whole time. But it was scary buying that computer and that camera. Which one of you did that? And were you terrified? Were you like, fuck, what am I doing?
That's funny. That's a crazy story, man. Like, honestly, because my story is a little like crazy. I thought my story was crazy, but that's really crazy. You're homeless and did all that. I mean, they
need to make they need a movie on that shit. I would watch the shit out of that. On the phone with dial-up.
And there was no one doing it at the time. I like literally the day Final Cut Pro came out and the G5 MacBook Pro came out. It was a black clamshell. I went to the student union at UC Santa Barbara as a homeless guy. And I used my girlfriend's credit card at the time and a big pile of cash I had. And I bought it. I lied to him and told him I was a student there and got the discount.
Yeah.
And then I bought a shitty fucking car for like $2,000 and I would just plug my computer into the cigarette lighter and edit all night and learn. It was fucking, and I thought I would cry to myself because I would be like, oh my God, I just wasted all this money. I'm never going to be able to learn this. I don't even know how to use a computer, but I figured it out. I would just went to war.
Yeah, that's incredible. So those stories, like, I'm going to get back to your question in the beginning about our story like that.
Yeah.
What type of things are what built you to, like you said, knowing, like learning shit. Like it's going to be fucking hard to learn it. And like, you're going to want to quit so many times to learn something or get it done. But like, you realize, what else am I going to do? Am I going to go resell the laptop and then go fucking work a job?
And buy weed?
Yeah. Like, what else
then go buy weed.
What else can I possibly do? And that's, I think, the most honorable thing is to like take that leap, whatever it is, just take the leap.
Yep.
About like our story, how we saved up. So I was working at a storage facility and I was also going to school getting FAFSA money. And so I would work and that $1,200 or whatever I made, $1,800 a month would survive my rent, my food, and I would not put any work in on my car. My car was getting trashed every month from just the brakes, never put brake pads on there, like just kept it really shitty and lived low. And then I ended up saving like, I think $3,000, or it came at different times. I bought the laptop it was like $2,000 at one time. And then the next time I got my FAFSA check, it was another $2,000. And then I went and bought the camera. And from there, it was just like, all right.
And were you tripping when you did it? Were you just like buying it, being like, kind of like sweating, being like, what am I doing?
No, because I was like, I intentionally saved all my money just so I'd have just enough to where there'd be $0 in my bank account after I bought it. And so exactly what happened. I bought it and there was $0. So it's like, all right, you have $0, but a MacBook and a computer. What are you going to do? I'm going to figure this shit out. I thought you get a camera and you buy a MacBook and the video goes from the camera to the laptop. I didn't know.
It's all good.
Editing. I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh shit, I got to go get adapters. I got to go get hard drives. I got to go get, and so I'm just like, well, fuck, I guess I have to wait again to do this shit. So like, it was all a process. Like, it's not like it happened overnight where you put film cameras and then the video goes up edited and cut and perfect.
And then you're viral on Instagram.
Like, yeah.
I have a camera and a laptop. I should be viral. Like, that's not how it works. But so that really got me going. And then, like, my brother, we first launched our first video in 2018 of like starting Vision Twins. And we had this date, like, for some reason it was like August 28th or something like that.
And we had no reason to have that date either. There's no reason.
It was a hard ass day to get it done. That's why I picked it, because it was like that Monday we announced to all our friends and family that we're dropping a video on Friday. And like, it was Wednesday and we hadn't filmed shit. We hadn't learned how to edit at all. So then we go out and film that Wednesday, come back home. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, because how hard can a video editing be? Like, how hard can it be? My first try. So then
what software did you use?
It was Final Cut.
Oh God.
So it was
a steep ass learning curve.
But once you get
Final Cut, how to do it, once you know how to do it, it's like the biggest blessing to be able to chop up. You can get the video done in 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Yep. But like, this is rookie, like experience level 70-year-old grandpa, like not knowing how to do this, right? And so it's Friday morning. I'm like, all right, well, fuck, I guess might as well start editing the video. Oh shit, we didn't buy the software. Let me go buy this really quick. $300. Boom, it's done. You got the software on there. All right, it takes 4 hours to upload. Oh shit, or download. Okay, let me wait another 4 hours, and then like it's now 6 o'clock at night on a Friday, Thursday, and the video's supposed to come out Friday morning.
Yeah,
and like, oh shit, 6 o'clock on a Friday. All right, now it's time to start Thursday. Excuse me, fuck. 6 o'clock on a Thursday, it's time to start editing. And then so plug in the camera, get it all done, get all the clips on there. Now the laptop has 4 gigabytes of data storage to edit on. And the video is going to obviously be about, oh man, it's so fucking hard to even explain this.
I know exactly what you're saying about. It's just the steep learning curve of figuring out how all that shit works. I know exactly what you're going through.
Yeah, the file was like 25 gigabytes at the end. I didn't know how to render the file in a certain way. So I'm just like, it was weird. The video should have came out 2 gigabytes, comes out 30 gigabytes. I'm editing at 3 in the morning. And then the laptop imagine I just shut the laptop off, just close it, just black screen, I'm like having a mini heart attack. Like, everybody's asleep. I can't tell anybody about it. Everybody's sleeping right now. And I'm like, fuck, it's on me. Like, what am I going to do right now? It's 3. Then I open up the laptop, says you have no space to do anything on your disk. And I can't even move the cursor to show anything. Like, I can't even move because this laptop's just broken at this point. Like, it's brand new laptop. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is not supposed to be happening. And so I'm like, well, fuck. I wake up my mom. I'm like, Mom, like, my video's fucking, it broke. Like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, go to bed. It'll be all fine. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, no, like, I'm not going to bed without this shit's due tomorrow. Like, I got to do it. And so that was where you realize, like, holy shit, if you want something done, it's on you. You got to get it done. And like, I'm staying up until now it's 8 a.m. the next day. And the video is at like 97% uploading on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, that was probably the most proud moment I think I've ever had, where like you went through all that shit and you finally got it at the end. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, yes, it was hard. Was it that hard? Like, was it unbearably can't live my life hard? No. But like, was it fucking hard? Yes. Like, but I'm so glad that I went through that, because I'm like watching the video the next day. Fucking, it says file format. Like, the video didn't upload an image on there. So it's just a red picture of like, the file didn't upload correct. I don't even care. Like, the video's up on YouTube. Like, I fucking did it.
Add a thumbnail later. Fuck it.
Yeah.
It's being a video editor is gnarly. I've had 1,000 nights where I was supposed to go to bed at 11 o'clock and I saw the sun come up.
Yeah,
it's just fucking nuts. I just remember eventually I upgraded. I bought like a 1977 motorhome so I could actually sit upright, you know. But yeah, I made all my first movies. I made shows for ESPNs. I did all that shit while I was homeless, and I just saved shitloads of fucking money. And I did all that for my fucking car and commercials, and I did it just like you. And you just have to practice, right? You just have to keep grinding. It's cool now though too, because you can just go on YouTube and type in what you want to learn, and there's some fucking 10-year-old kid who'll teach you.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, do this. You're like, oh fuck, great.
How to invest.
What is this guy saying? Someone talk shit about San Diego. Sure, why not? In the COVID coma podcast, intolerable. I'm taking my sticker off my truck now. No, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
He loves San Diego, man.
I love San Diego. Just the people in Southern California have lost their mind. Actually, all over California.
You're Santa Barbara, you said?
I'm in Santa Cruz now. I went to school in Santa Barbara. I went to UC Santa Barbara. I was born in the Bay Area. I was born in Oakland, and then I was raised in sort of the East Bay. The whole Bay Area has fucking lost their mind. I went to Berkeley recently. I mean, they're still completely covered in masks and they stay 12 feet away from you. They're completely psychotic. They're completely broken souls. Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, I know.
The brain, and they don't believe that they're brainwashed. It's like getting the hardest thing to tell someone like you've been lied to, but they don't want to. There's no way that what they told me is true. All right. Whatever.
Hey, do you guys ever fuck with Officer Tatum? Do you know who that is? Brandon Tatum?
No, I hate when people ask us if we know these people because 90% of the time I have no idea who.
Okay, sorry.
You're good.
I had him on the show. He's cool. I'll send you a link to his Instagram account. He's a really cool dude. He blew up during the whole COVID thing. But he's a straight shooter. He talks straight, and I just dig him.
Yeah.
I dig him. When you went to Tijuana to visit your dad, you hadn't seen your dad in 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years. Yeah.
How do you? Who comes up with that idea? There must be some sort of like combination of like, hey, this is going to be great and it's going to be fun, but we also need to use this for content because people will like it and it adds value. People will see us vulnerable and they'll see us like. How do you guys think that out?
Well, every day is content. You know, our life is content.
We knew that like he hadn't seen us since we were overweight, so like. A couple years before that, we were fat, obese, and like that's what he last saw us as. So then he like sees us from across the border on the internet losing weight and doing all these things, and we're like, well, shit, let's go see him and turn it into a video.
We saw him a couple times when we had lost weight. We already seen him.
No, I'm talking about for TikTok, obviously, but for TikTok, it was a different story. That was a little bit of fabricated. We did see him like maybe 2 or 3 times before that, but there was a good span of like 4 years where he lived right across the border, but we just never went and saw him just because. We were we had to get our stuff done,
And then, so I didn't realize that. So no wonder he's so proud when he sees you. He's so fucking proud.
Yeah.
And did that feel good to make your dad happy, even though you hadn't seen him in so long?
I think it was cool, like for him to like see that we got in shape and like now what we should have been doing. What we should have been doing. He always told us like he sees it in us and we didn't see it in ourselves. But I think he's a lot more proud of us than we are of what we've done because we felt like we should have done it. But he's like, yeah, like now we're kicking his ass in workouts. And like that was our goal. Like I was like, I want to be able to outrace my dad. Like there's no way this 45-year-old man should be. I'm 17 and 18 and I'm getting more winded than him,
As when you're young, you really look up to your parents. You think they're amazing, and then there's some point in life, I guess, where a lot of us start to resent our parents, and then we get older again, and then we're like, oh fuck, life's hard, man. They just did the best they could. Why the fuck was I so hard on them? Why did I resent them? Fuck, they went through some shit. Where are you? Have you guys had that journey with your mom and your dad where it's like, I love you. Fuck, why'd you do this? Oh, fuck, of course you did it because of that. Like I could have, fuck, you were raising 2 boys. Can you tell me about that?
If we could go back I would say
Angelo has always been kind of more the bitchy complainer out of both of us towards our parents, as opposed to I was kind of always just like, I love you, God. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. I was always the more loving one. He was kind of always.
Man, like my mom would be gone from 6 a.m. in the morning to 6 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, and
still
like single mom fucking working hard, working her ass off just to support us. And like I'd come home or she'd come home and I'd be like, Mom, like what's for dinner? Like, bro, she just fucking worked all day, like on her feet, selling glasses, driving from here to Riverside to Hemet to all back and then back to San Diego, all on the same day to fucking make sure you have a roof over your head. and you're pissed off at her because she didn't bring home In-N-Out. Like, bro, fuck you, bro. Like, that's what I really think about myself as a kid. Like, we gave her such a hard time. Like, you're a terrible mom. Like, oh my gosh. And like, I just, oh man, I don't even, yeah.
It's a trip. There's this quote here that I read on the show a lot. You guys will probably like this. When your parents are alive, you might wish they behaved different. When they're dead, you'll wish you behaved different.
Yeah.
Pretend your parents are dead. Yeah. And I tried there's gonna be a day when they're gone, and we're gonna just look back and be like, fuck, what was I tripping on?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Your parents, your kids. I heard a quote this week. Like, kids will never fail to not listen to their parents. So the kids will always not listen to their parents, but they will never fail to emulate their parents.
Oh,
so they're going to be shitheads, hardheads, and they'll not listen, the teenage years, but they will still, once, they 18, 19, 20, 21, they will start to emulate exactly who their parents were. And, it's interesting looking back at us. We were, fat shits growing up and, didn't want to work out, but then come to find out we're extremely fit now. Our dad's 45 years old. And he's still more cut up than we are. Like, so there's still work for us to do, but, we're emulating our parents, and
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great quote. Mm-hmm. Are you guys like really proud of yourselves? Do you ever think, oh my God, this is like, when we have kids one day, this is exact, like I'm helping the world. Like I worked at CrossFit for 15 years and I was so proud when I worked there because I was like, man, I'm saving the world. I'm saving people's lives one day at a time. And it's something that spreads like fire. And to this day, like I have no problem giving myself a pat on the back. Holy shit. I'm like really contributing to humanity. Do you guys ever look at yourself and be like, yeah, this is exactly, when we have kids, we can tell our kids this is what we did. We saved lives.
Yeah, I would say I love what I do.
I'm proud of the 21-year-old me to start social media. I'm proud of him for getting on and, getting verified on TikTok. And, there's still goals that I still want to get verified on all platforms. But, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily proud of myself right now because there's a lot of things that I still need to learn and that I know I need to hammer in on the business end of things that I personally want to work on. But I'm proud of the 21-year-old kid for going out there and busting his balls every single day in the middle of the summer while COVID started and, just inspiring these people to lose weight. I'm proud of that kid. But as far as the business aspect, I feel like there's more things that I can work on. So I'm not necessarily proud of myself right now, but.
And that's the thing with me too. I think I differ in that sense because especially coming from, I'd love to hear your perspective on this too, is like, you don't want to wait until it's too late to tell yourself that you were proud of yourself for what you do. Because at this time in my life, like I've realized no one's going to love or like support what I'm doing right now more than myself.
Yeah.
And so if I'm not my biggest fan, and if I always feel like I have some shit to do, some shit to work on, then nobody's really going to accept you at what you want to be accepted for right now, where you're at,
That is true.
And so there's this mindset of me like, oh, I got to grind all the time and work all the time. Like that's kind of already known for me now. Like, I know I'm supposed to work hard. I know I'm supposed to do these things. It's time to like understand and be proud of like, okay, the more I'm proud of myself, the more I'm willing to learn and start working versus like thinking that, oh, I fucked up by not knowing this shit already. Or like, I have to have all my shit together now. Like I'm just more like you said, proud. Like I'm glad from where I've come from, but I'm still long way where I want to go. But I'm proud to say like, I'm here at this point now for sure.
Do you guys have any fear of getting kicked off of TikTok? I feel like so many people like who didn't even know that they were fucking up got just kicked off of TikTok. This guy I have on the show regularly, Justin Nunley. Do you guys know who that is? And there was another guy I had on the show. Both of them talked about like getting to like 2 million, 3 million people on TikTok and then getting kicked off and having to start over again. And they weren't even doing crazy shit. Like they weren't doing like vaccine talk or none of that shit. You guys, is TikTok as scary? Like, are the rules hard on?
Like, and we have a manager that like runs our account and like who we were talking about getting verified with last year. She
we have a point of contact with TikTok, so like I feel
I'm not worried about like
if there's ever any reason why we got kicked off, it'd be really petty. And I don't think like, I think we've
No,
built a good enough name for ourselves to where like
we can just go to her and I mean that's what he's like. He said
Even
we have a point of contact, so there's not anything. I don't think anything petty could even.
At the end of the day, it's fucking TikTok. Like TikTok is literally it's a kid's app. Like I'm not really tripping off of it. It's a good way to make business. You should have one, but like I'm in no way want to be 25 years old still making TikToks. Like and I'm 23, so like I hope to not be on TikTok I hope I'm doing bigger things by then.
I don't fuck with that at all just because Instagram already takes too much fucking time. I mean, I love social media. I love Instagram, but like I just can't get lost in another. I don't do any of the others. I don't do Twitter or Facebook or TikTok. I just do Instagram, and I just basically and I use Instagram just to find guests. So I got a blue check mark, and because of that, people will respond to my DMs. And so I just I saw you guys, I'm like, oh shit. And I do like a weight loss story at least once a month on my YouTube. And because I think it's important. I think those are the great. I think the world needs weight loss stories more than ever right now.
And it's a market that thankfully we've been able to become the face of, we feel like, and we hold ourselves a standard to as the face of weight loss. And you know, it's a market that's going to take off, you know, within the next 10 years. And we're glad to be, you know, early pioneers in the
internet weight loss for sure
in the space. Yeah.
It's funny because you get on TikTok and like TikTok's where you go to die. I feel like TikTok's like the last place you want to be on because you can see the most positive, loving video on TikTok, and you'd think the comments would be like, "Oh, this is awesome," and then it's some like 13-year-old like, "Oh, fuck that," like pussy bitch shit. I'm just like, oh my God, like I can. And then you think like everybody's like that, but then you just like you see it so much, and it's just too toxic at times. That's why
no one should all the coolest kids I know, and I know some cool fucking kids. None of them had cell phones until they were 15, 16, 17. They had like really strict parents. All the kids that I know that are kind of like scattered and shit, they got phones too early. It's like a strong correlate.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Like people are like the boldest people on the internet because they have this idea of distance. But like, man, if you like, we know if anybody ever was to try to do something to you in person, it's gonna be a little bit of an issue for them. Versus, because I like, you know, but on the internet you're safe, you're protected.
Yes.
You're a face that it was just a video, but like, okay, That brings out the dark side. See how I'm going in this conversation? I'm already talking about.
You're already thinking of two people who need to be kicked in the balls.
Yeah, I'm already thinking about soft people. Like, no, and that's where you got to check yourself and be like, okay, it's the internet. Like, let them say their stupid shit. If anything, it's helping you. Like, so.
What's your take? Have you guys done any videos or talk about body positivity, this insanity that's going on? They show someone who's 200 pounds overweight and they're talking about how they love themselves, but deep down, but fuck, this person makes a weekly trip to the pharmacy to get their fucking insulin, and they're type 2 diabetic, and they could be sending the wrong message. Have you guys weighed in on that or thought about that?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. I completely understand loving yourself at a bigger part, but like, to say that that's okay is not what that's.
Or to say it's healthy, right?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I feel like this idea, this subject, this kind of podcast talk subject, I feel like it's brought up about overweight people, you know, becoming models or whatever. And I actually did see a commercial about it recently. I think it was during the NBA playoffs, and I saw this big girl doing yoga, and she was like the main subject of the commercial. Although this idea of, I think it's counterintuitive how we talk about big people that should feel healthy or should feel good in their bodies. Although I don't really see too much of that advertisement anymore. I would say it was more like maybe 5-6 years ago where we saw a lot of those type of advertisements of big people kind of being the subject of
the plus size model
of health. Yeah, that plus size model thing. But I think over the past 3-4 years, it hasn't really been, it's kind of been resurfaced as a topic to talk about instead of something that's actually happening. Like,
here's the thing that happened. About 6 months ago, Vogue or something put out 5 issues with 5 large-bodied people on them, which I found actually the women very attractive. it's not an attractive issue, and it said healthy. Maybe let me see if it was pretty recently.
That's the thing, and I just haven't really seen much of it
You
recently.
haven't?
So I just feel like it's just a topic that's being resurfaced and kind of something to talk about as opposed to something that's
okay. God, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
When we were, when I was obese, I knew that I was lying to myself, saying like I'm healthy, I'm in shape. Like I was just doing that to be the sheltered person that's too afraid of criticism. But like knowing that there's something you could get better at, that should drive people to do it. But nowadays, it's like if you say that to somebody, you're the bad person.
Let me show you this. Fuck, man, that ad is huge. How the fuck do I get rid of that ad? Look at this. This is now to Kalvin's point. This is 2 years ago, and I'll pull up the Vogue one that was like, but this is really bad. This is really, really bad. Healthy teenager. You know this boy's 400 pounds, right? Look at his ears and in his eyes. Dies of this is the kind of shit I'm totally okay with. It's not my business whether Sports Illustrated puts someone obese on the cover or not. Like, what do I give a fuck? Like, it's your magazine or Vogue, do it. But then to write healthy on there, you're a fucking liar.
In the 90s, if you put a magazine said healthy teenager dies of COVID suddenly, what does the kid look like?
And I had that picture.
No, what does the kid look like in the 90s? A healthy teenager.
Yeah, he looks like nothing like that. Like that was like 1/5 that size.
Yeah, abs, I would imagine, and like t-shirt, like summer body kind of guy. Healthy.
Yes.
Teenager. I've never.
We all know why that kid died of COVID. It's because he's obese.
And it's very like it's not funny that the kid died.
No.
I think it's fucked up that they put that as the title.
People Magazine used the same picture and the same headline. That's telling what I, by the way, also, this is the most fascinating thing. What I also see that as is a crazy manipulation of all the young people, but also young black men in the world. You're basically telling young black men who identify with that photo that, hey, I'm healthy if I'm this big. It's a fucking, it's a total. From these same assholes who claim that there's racism in the world, they're the ones perpetuating the fucking vile talk. Vogue magazine.
Just saying the truth, like he died because he was overweight. Like, why do we have to lie behind that? What do we have? Like, what are we hiding? Like, what are we hiding about that? He's clearly overweight. Clearly, maybe not the healthiest person. Like, what? Like, why are we trying to say he's healthy? What are we trying to protect? We're trying to keep people overweight, slobs, lazy, uneducated, undisciplined. We're trying to, because it's easier to control people in that position where they just, oh, but I'm healthy. The government tells me I'm healthy. Like, bro, go step on the scale. If you're afraid to step on the scale, you're not healthy. I was afraid.
Or if you're on medication, right?
We've seen people that have lost weight with us that literally got off their medication. So like,
right. Of course.
Like they literally were, taking heart medicine and now they don't take it anymore.
Oh shit.
So this was the one that blew up. I'm trying to see if I can see the date on it. Cosmopolitan put out this whole series of fucking covers.
Yeah, what year is that?
That's a February 2021.
Okay.
And this is just nuts to use the word healthy, because I know she goes to the pharmacy once a month to pick up her medication for her obesity.
I think this is awesome. Like, the fact that she's doing it would be much more motivating and much more indicative of what she's doing. Like, this is awesome. Yes, she has yoga pants. She's, clearly trying to work out. But like, to say that
like
that's the healthy standard or that's the beauty standard, like, not even that there's a beauty standard, but like being a healthy overall human being, not getting tired when you stand up, like that, you can't say that's healthy.
And this one doesn't say she's healthy. This chick's hot. She got the big old titties, and looks like she'd be fun to fucking go to the bar with, and if you're fucking 25 years old and party with. And it doesn't say she's unhealthy. And if that's your style of what you want to bang, then I'm all for it. But this one over here saying it's healthy, no, this is lying to people, and this is lying to people. This is lying to people.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, that's not something that I even really give two shits about or like
All
like
right.
we said, we're not interested in none
You
of
got-
that.
yeah.
We're more focused on what we got to do, and
Good on you.
as
Good on you.
Chris.
Sorry to drag you into the mud then.
You're good, man. It's just there's a certain time where like before I would have not said anything because I'd be like, oh yeah, but like now it's like I know where I'm at. I could say I know what I stand for. No, like okay, if you want to go bang her, then yeah, but that's not something that like I'm not interested in that topic. Like that's just personally.
You are you guys are pretty religious?
We would say we're faithful, yeah. With we meditate, read the I have the Bible right here actually, so.
And who introduced you to the Bible?
I think it's just a book that I've always just never read, but knew that there was knowledge in it, and I just read it for the knowledge of what it is. And
older mentors as kids, kids around the neighborhood. Definitely, we grew up in the church a little bit. Kind of Sunday school. We did summer camps growing up. Kind of went away from it during our teenage years for sure. But around 20, 21 is when we kind of started to pick it back up.
You guys have a theme in the videos where you talk that sort of love is the way, that you guys would, just like in this conversation, you guys want to take the high road. You want to stay focused on what you know, and you want to take the high road. And there was a video you made, I guess you had some issues with someone who was working on the back end with some of your publicity, and you guys had a breaking up. And even that was like, hey man, just so you know, no matter what you say, no hard feelings from our end.
Yeah, that's actually fun. That conversation comes up a lot because it's like people want you to be like the lasher, like get back at somebody and like argue with them over the internet. But like that's the last thing I ever felt like doing was making a response video to like argue with somebody on the internet. And at the end of the day, we know who we are, and like the people that know us know that that is completely a fabricated, like made up story. And just, I was reflecting on it. Some of the stuff that he was saying, he was calling himself like the LeBron James of our brand, like of visions. Like he was complaining how we didn't give him merchandise for free. Like, why does LeBron not pay for his Lakers jersey and all that? And I'm just like, this kid's mindset is fucked. Like the LeBron James of us. Like, what do you mean? Like I didn't get it. So that just told me a lot. Like, okay, this kid's clearly hurt. Clearly going through something. Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah, he's hurt. He got hurt.
We responded out of anger, which probably wasn't the smartest thing for us to do. But like for the longest time, we just ignored it because it was, and it went away. Like it's nowadays people still kind of like hang on to it on the internet, but like that's TikTok. Like I said, it's the place you go to die. So.
Anytime I've ever responded to someone negatively, I always feel that night I feel dirty. I never feel better. You think you were gonna feel better, but you don't. You really don't.
Yeah.
You're better off just going and running 5 miles.
That's we actually so I know it's probably too late to cut it short, but we have a meeting now with one of our people for our first forum.
Perfect. You the man. You the man. Hey, I loved having you two on. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having us. Seriously, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's just good on here having some real talk. We have each other's phone numbers. Stay in touch. I don't sleep by my phone. You can text me 24 hours a day. The funnier the shit, the better. And I'll see you guys around. Thanks so much for your time, gentlemen.
Appreciate you for having us. Seriously.
Yep. For sure. Bye. Keep doing the good work. Bye.
You got it.
Booyah, Kasha. Tommy and Shawnee thoughts, Sevon? No. I didn't feel bad for any of that. I didn't feel bad for any of that. I didn't feel bad for that or any of the catcher and stuff. The only time I'll tell you which one I was thinking about. When I did the video where I got really angry about Dave being fired, and I said some things about some people in that video that I wish I wouldn't have said. The Tommy and Shawnee stuff and the catch and stuff, I just see it's just storytelling. I think, unfortunately, if anything, I feel bad because I think maybe some of that stuff hurts them or frustrates them. But for me, it's more like comedy. Unfortunately, maybe I'm a sociopath, like they said, or whatever. Susie Tell, $20. Sevon, great show, very inspiring. These kids are fab. Yeah. You know what's interesting, Susie? I'll tell you. I saw them on Instagram. I was into them. Then as I started researching them last night, I saw them as being kind of bitter and angry. And then today when I interviewed them on the show, I didn't see any of that behavior from them, and it made me happy. I think they went through some hard, I think there's just some hard growing pains being that young and kind of growing up with social media being your portal to the world. We try to hide that from my kids as long as I can. I mean, I personally love it. I think it's fun. But I wasn't I mean, they didn't have the fucking internet when I started CrossFit, or they barely did. They didn't have videos. They didn't have YouTube. Okay. Tomorrow, who do we got? Let me see. I think we have Alex Stein tomorrow. I feel like such a big shot when I'm like, who do we got? Let me see. Let me check our guest list. Tomorrow, 7 a.m. Alex Stein. That should be fun. I'm actually surprised he's doing 7 a.m. Then on the 17th, we have a live call-in show. Oh, then this Saturday, we have Gary Chikvakyan. Oh, I can't believe I can't even say his last name right. He's in the G League for the NBA, and he's Armenian. He's the only Armenian in the NBA, and he's in the G League. I've been wanting to have him on the show forever. So that's cool. I didn't realize that was this Saturday. Good job, Souza. You're fucking kicking ass. And then doesn't look like I have anyone scheduled on Sunday. You know what I need to do? I need to reach back out to Yevgeny. And then on Monday, we have Matt DeLugos. That's fucking awesome. I had no idea. I thought I was avoiding doing any CrossFitters. Guess who I reached out to? Oh, maybe I shouldn't say it yet. Maybe I should just wait till it pops up. Oh, we have Alex Gazan on Thursday. I reached out to Lauren Khalil of the Morning Chalk Up and asked her if she'd come on the show. And I think she's going to come on. I'm pretty excited. I'm just so impressed by her work ethic. During this whole last couple weeks, months, during whatever that whole semifinals thing was, man, she was killing it. Shit was just so much shit was coming out from her. And I would kind of like taunt her in her DMs. I'd send her DMs like, hey, you need to take the week off. You need to chill. What are you doing? You're working too hard. I seriously, I know nothing about Monster. If I were to drink an energy drink, I would never go in and buy a Monster. Never, ever, ever. I would go and buy a little small can of Red Bull, or I might buy a Bang because it says the word creatine on it. But I was just at someone's house and they had, it was in the back. You know, when like someone has a drink in the back and it's like old as shit and you know it's been there forever. There were 4 Monsters in the back of this fridge in the garage. And so I just took one and I poured it like a little tiny bit. I opened it, poured it was a fucking huge can. I put a little tiny bit in the bottom of a cup full of ice and then poured in some Tito's and soda and then filled the rest with sparkling water. And I had probably like 4 of those. And that was just because I was so fucking exhausted. I'd been up at 6 a.m., did semifinals, and then I went to this party at night. I just wanted to get my swerve on and get a little caffeine jolt. But I don't know. I don't even know any Monster. I don't know any other stuff. I think their logo's horrible. I think the whole thing does nothing for me. I think it's a joke. Same with Gatorade. I think Gatorade's pathetic. Just when I see it. Yeah. Do you know, are there any brands that you just think are just pathetic? Like you don't even want to be associated for them, even if it's just like superficial reasons. That's how I feel about Like I feel like it's below me. I'm too good for Gatorade, or I feel like Gatorade's like Tang. Like it's like for scumbags. And same with Monster. I feel like that about energy drinks in general. If I drink an energy drink, I drink it like in the closet. Like I'm embarrassed. Yeah, like Reebok. Unfortunately, yeah. You asshole. But I love my Nano 2s. But yeah, there's just like, you know, when you see someone like with a Louis Vuitton bag or a Gucci bag and you're like, you can't afford that. It's like that. It's the opposite. If I have a Monster, I'm just like, people can tell that I'm not like missing teeth. Like I have people in my life that love me. Why am I drinking that garbage? I mean, that's literally how I feel. I would be embarrassed. Oh, okay. 8:40 a.m. Thanks everyone for checking in. Great show. Great to meet the Vision Twins. Bums me out. The connection was such ass. Yeah, Nano 4s are good too. And you know, I'm willing to get behind brands and help them if they're ass, like or get behind. Man, I was going to use an example, but it's going to be taken wrong. Let me think. There's things I can get behind to help that I don't necessarily think everyone has given a chance and get behind them. And that's how I felt about the Nano 2. I don't think it's embarrassing eating tofu. I like just taking a block of tofu and dipping it in soy sauce and wasabi and eating it. There's things that other people might think are lame, but I just think Monster Energy is just ghetto. Like I feel like maybe even like when I think of their cans, I think of them as just being dirty inside. You know? That's how I feel like Gatorade too. I feel like there's probably someone pissed in there, like at the factory that they just don't have, you know, just in my mind, the factories would probably be dirty and gross. Just like when I think of like Nobles, that whole entire brand, I think of their shoes as just being made of just cardboard junk. And I feel like I feel like you're being duped by liking that brand. People tell me their t-shirts are nice, but all those, oh, look at that's from shaving. Look at all those hairs on my shirt. I feel like the only people who can wear Noble shirts are people who have like really nice bodies because it's so thin and it has to hang on you just fucking perfect. But I find the whole brand just wimpy. And same with Whoop. Like I think anyone who wears a Whoop, you're either paid to wear it or you're a fool. I think it like shows that you're not smart, like you have low IQ. These are the things I think associated with those brands. I think if you're Noble, like you're being duped, like you just have to have the trendiest shit and it doesn't matter how shitty it is. And when I think of Whoop, I think of like you're a fool. Like you're distracted. And I think of men who wear Whoop as being weak. Now that I'm just like I don't there's a like why do you care? Why do you need all this stuff? Maybe like for a week or two, wear it, get the data, see it, feel it out. That's how I feel about the Apple Watch too, and I own one of those. I've owned like 10 of them. I've owned like every one. And the same thing happens every time. I wear it for 2 weeks. I'm like, this is so lame. This is stupid. I'd rather not be distracted or pulled away from what's going on in here by this thing. Wait, what does it say? Sevon, who's shit in your cereal? No one. I don't eat cereal. Cereal's for bitches. That's another thing. I think if you eat cereal, you're a bitch. What are you going to talk about with the Khaleesi? Her work ethic, what she's I just don't like those brands. I like the Khaleesi brand. I just don't like that. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean or negative. What are you talking? Why does she work so hard? How does she work so hard? Why did she come from TV to the internet? Does she like the internet better? Does she like talking to the athletes? What's her favorite kind of athlete to talk to? What's her least favorite kind of athlete to talk to? Does she wish she talked to people outside of the CrossFit space? And then just let shit go from there. Who's better to have on the show, Tommy Marquez or Brian Friend? The tough questions. When did she get her first muscle up? How did she find CrossFit? How much money would it cost for me to pay you to come do shows on the Sevon podcast instead of the Morning Chalk Up? No, you could do them on both. I'm an open guy. Those are the questions I'm going to ask her. Hey, here's the thing. I don't know about that. The amount of I don't know, but man, she works hard, and I want to be around people. I admire people who work hard like that. She's not fucking around, and I fuck with her a little bit in her DMs and the way she handles me. I'm like, all right, she's a beast. TD CEO fits way better than any Noble shirt. Someone actually wrote a review that their shirt fits better. Someone actually. That the Noble shirt fits better than the TDC. These shirts fucking fit great. All the shirts you can get from Life is RX or Vindicate. I'm not just saying that because I wear them every day, and I would never wear a shirt that didn't fit nicely on me. I have nice shoulders; they hang nicely on my shoulders, and then they don't stick on my my egg muffin or whatever this thing's called, my muffin. So they hang down. And look, I look buff. See, it's a beautiful shirt. Highlights my titties and my nice chest and my shoulders, and my lats, but doesn't stick to my stomach. That's it. That's all you need. Yeah, but I hear you. Yeah, for sure. I have no peer. I'm the greatest interviewer of all time. But she only has like 10 or 15 minutes. Her shit is short, and I think she has like rules. I mean, what if you like? I think you could like let her off the leash, and she might tear it up. Have you burned any bridges with old friends since you started this podcast because they don't agree with what you talk about? Man, that's funny you say that. So, man, it's a great question. Sounds like the gardener's here. Can you guys hear the gardener? Not that they've told me to my face. Here's what's interesting too. I have some friends who are like really. I have a lot of friends who are like really overweight, and some of them have talked to me, and some of them are. I haven't lost any of them. I'm a very loving, kind, generous person when I'm in your presence. I'm not quite the fucking stick in the mud asshole that I am sometimes on the podcast, right? I'm not as wild. People always know that it's fun to come to my house, and I'm very welcoming. And I just love all my friends. I feel very fortunate to have the circle I have. And half my friends are fucking vaccinated to the gills, right? But there are a couple really good friends of mine that I know have been avoiding me now for a couple of years because I've heard it through the grapevine because of some of my opinions. And specifically, these are people who I'll give you an example. These are people who are really disappointed that kids are being allowed back in the school system, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids without masks until all those kids are vaccinated. So these are my friends who have such strong belief that the vaccine works to protect kids, or to be honest, I don't even know what their thought process is, to be honest. But they don't think kids should be allowed back in school, kindergarten, first, second grade, without masks until all kids are vaccinated and forced to be vaccinated. And I have some crazy strong opinions about that, right? I don't think that any kid should be forced to take any of those COVID vaccines or any drugs, to be honest, that the parents don't agree on. And I don't think any kid should have ever been asked to wear a mask. And I think those things are outright abusive and will cause a lot of trauma forever for those kids that they will never get better from. I think, and I'm being very gentle with how I feel, how I'm expressing now. So yeah, I think some of those people have stayed the fuck away from me. Unfortunately, Keller Moore. So yeah. And they've done some other things with their kids too. These are also, I have parents who think that I have friends who think that no kid should ever do jiu-jitsu because it makes kids violent. They think that it's crazy that I have fight nights at my house on Saturday and they don't come over with their kids because they don't want their kids to see that. And yet, all of those things are, I've done 200 fight nights at my house, and I've never seen a kid come even like walk up to the TV while we're watching the fights. I live in a kid's heaven. I have a massive backyard that's completely fenced in. I have with 100 fruit trees and jungle gym and all that shit. And I got a massive jiu-jitsu toy playroom with the TV in it. And then I have a fucking kids garage gym. There's no kids coming in and watching the fights. Wait, what did my mom say? You were true. You are a very different person. Yeah. I don't know if different's the word, but I express myself for surely different. This is more the temper tantrum version of me. and I come here to be funny. Crack jokes. All right, and if you want to, no, that's okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow with Alex Stein. That show is going to be wild. I think he has like, you guys know Alex Stein. He thinks that we never went to the moon. The Earth might be flat. He enjoys conspiracy theories and stuff. He also just signed a deal with Blaze TV. He's exploding right now. He's been very vocal about trannies and kids interacting. And I like that. I like anyone who stands up for kids. All right, I'm gonna go party with trannies right now. Speaking of which.